What's up? What's up? What's up? All right, cool. All right, how do I turn this off? All right, cool, cool, cool. I'm gonna get right into it. So, in this live, we're gonna talk about how to start a car rental business. Today, I'm gonna touch on the top 25 most answered questions, or most asked questions, I should say. And the purpose of this is to kind of help a lot of you guys out, with understanding how to build your car rental business. All of these questions are what people ask me all the time, what people search up online all the time. And I'm going to go ahead and touch on every scenario to help you get started. So if you're joining right now, welcome in, and let's get right into it. Cool. So question number one, how much capital do I need to start a car rental business? Man, this is a great question. This is a very common question. And the answer to this question is zero. You need zero capital to start a car rental business. What do I mean by this? All right, cool. So every single person, or at least most people, like 90% of people, have a car. If you got a car, you can start a car rental business. It doesn't matter whether it's a personal car. It doesn't matter whether it's somebody else's car, a family member's car. Like 90% of people in America have a car. If you have a car, you can start a car rental business. Now, if you don't have a car, then you need to get a little bit more creative. You don't need to spend any money. You can use any car, family member's car, any car that you have that's sitting out, any car of anybody that you know that they don't use. You can take that car and start a car rental business. If you're smart, you partner up with people who have cars. So it takes zero capital to get started, depending on how creative you want to get. Now, let's say you wanted to start with your own car. How would you do it? Well, you got to figure out what times you don't use your car. Do you not use your car during the week, or do you not use your cars on the weekends? If you don't use your cars on the weekends, you can list your cars up for rent on the weekends and then make your availability from Friday to Monday, from Saturday to Monday, whatever that availability is. You rent out the car on a daily basis over that day that you're not using, and then you can go ahead and start making some extra money with your car rental business. Now, I know a lot of you guys love Turo. A lot of people love Turo. A lot of people use Turo. Turo, you can do exactly that. You can just list your car in Turo, make it available on the weekends, and make some extra money when you're not using it. Now, if you don't have a car, or you want to use a family member's car, that's even better. Everybody thinks that you got to use expensive cars. You can use any car, right? As long as, if you're doing it on Turo, you got to meet Turo standards, which is you got to have a car that's not older than 15 years and under 125,000 miles. So if you are able to meet that criteria, you can start a car rental business with no money at all. I started my car rental business with zero. And then the other side of it, if you have credit, you can just go buy and finance a car with zero down. And then, we'll talk about some credit strategies over the course of the channel. I'll really dive into the credit side. But for this question, how much money do I need to start a car rental business? You need absolutely nothing. You need zero. So that's to answer the question. Next question. What business structure is best for a car rental business? That's a great question. Now, for a car rental business, the best business structure, you need an LLC. You need a limited liability company. Why? Because when you're renting out your vehicles to the public, we are in a high risk industry. Because we're in a high risk industry, it is important that you use a limited liability company. You want to reduce your liability, right? And that's what an LLC is. It's a limited liability company that reduces your liability. It gives you asset protection for yourself personally and for your business, especially if you're holding assets in your business. If you have homes in your personal name, you do not want to do business under your name. Get an LLC. Very easy to get an LLC. You can get it at your Secretary of State. It's about $300 to $500 depending on your state. So everybody should have an LLC. If you don't have an LLC, go make one today. Because when it comes to the LLC side of things, when it comes to the corporate structure, you want to do everything under your LLC. So if you don't have an LLC, make sure you go get your LLC like right now. All right. So the best business structure to start your car rental business is using an LLC. Next question. How can I avoid issues with damage waivers and liability coverage? This is a great question. This is actually a kind of a complex question. There's many ways to mitigate your issues when it comes to damage waivers and liabilities. The number one way to do it is with a rental agreement. Your rental agreement should protect you and your vehicles at all times, especially if you're renting out on private. Turo actually has their own rental agreements that they make their customers sign that you, the host, don't see. So the customer has to agree to Turo's terms and conditions, which includes their rental agreement. So you want to make sure that your rental agreement is in check. Your rental agreement passes liability from you, the company, to the customer, right? You want to make sure that the customer is held responsible for anything that they do, anything that happens while they're on the trip. So that will significantly avoid issues for you in terms of damage waivers and liability. Now, for damage waiver itself, what a damage waiver is, a damage waiver is essentially the customer is waiving their liability when they damage your car. So there are places where you can purchase damage waiver coverage. So you have places like Bonza, Alliance, Rental Cover, right? If you're doing the private rentals, these three places are great to purchase damage waiver coverage for your clients, and that will protect your vehicle in the case of any accidents. So that's that. This is a very complex question. We can go into details on that. But yeah, that answers that. The way to avoid issues: number one, your rental agreement. Number two, purchase damage waiver coverage. And number three, make sure that you're transferring liability on rental to the customer and not to yourself. And the third, the very last caveat to that would be if the customer has their own full coverage insurance, their insurance takes on all the liability and damage waivers if the customer crashes your car. So their insurance will pay for it. You just have to make sure you verify that they have full coverage. All right. How many cars should I start with in my fleet? Man, you just need one to start, guys. You just need one to start. I'm telling you, I started with one car. 2021, November, I bought my first car. In fact, I financed it. So it was zero down. I financed the first car, and that first car bought 4 more cars. So if you run the play correctly, you only need to start with one and let that one car buy you all your other cars. And that's the way to do it. So you only need one car to start. Don't overcomplicate it. Everybody wants to go pick up 5, 6, 7 cars. It's very difficult to do. Start where you are. Start where you can. Like I said, if you want to use your own cars, I actually rented out. I financed my first car, and I ended up renting out my personal car. So for like 6 months, I didn't even have a car. I was taking Ubers. It was hilarious, but the cars were making so much money. I was like, man, I don't even want it. Like, they can keep it. So start with one. Start where you are. Start with what you have. If you have family members that have old cars that sit around, use those. Use your family members. Leverage those. In fact, you don't even, if you're smart, man, you don't gotta tell them that you're gonna just say, hey, man, can I borrow this car for a few months? Right? Go make money with it. Because if they find out you're making money, they're gonna want to cut. Right? Or you can sit down and provide them a cut. If it's a finance car, say, hey, I'll pay your car note for you. I did that before. My family member, they were very happy to take it. I paid their car note for them. They didn't want the car anymore. They went to go buy another one. I still pay that car note for it to this day. That car note is like $300. That car generates like $1,600 a month. $300 is nothing, right? So if you get a little creative, you can get away with the minimum that will make them happy, right? In a negotiation, you have to always see how much you can get away with. So start with one, start with what you have, and go from there. Two, all right, cool. Should I operate roadside or airport pickup and drop off location? Now, this is a very weird question. It's very dependent on you as an operator. How do you want to operate your business? If you're closer to an airport, if you're in an airport city, you're less than 10 miles from an airport, you should definitely be taking advantage of that. Airports are a moneymaker in the car rental game. You have people that are traveling in, hundreds of thousands of people traveling in every single day, every single week, every single month. You should be taking advantage of that. You should be running ads to your airport. You can run basic Instagram ads, $2-3 a day. Target that airport. So when people fly in and they land and they get on their phone, they go on Instagram. Most of the time, the first thing people do when they land is they look for an Uber. How can I get to where I want to go to? They should see your ad right there. If you do $3 a day, you drop the pin in that airport city, man, you get, your phone will blow up, right? So you can target airports for sure. You can do pickup and drop offs. Now, you have to get creative with the airports. A couple people I know what they do is they utilize the airport parking. So what they do is if the customer books a car for that day, they take the car to the paid parking. They park the car there. They leave the key in there. You can lock the car remotely or use your kill switches or whatever. And then they just send the customer to that exact location. The customer just has to pay. It's usually $2-3 on the way out, and then they drop the car off at the same place, and then you have to pay on the way out. So you spend about a couple bucks to do that, but hey, you can that's very worth it if you're getting some good business from the airport. So the airport is really great. As far as roadside, I'm not really sure. So if you don't have a physical building, you can just use, like I use apartment complexes, you can use bus stations, right? You can get creative. You don't need to go spend $3,000-$4,000 a month on a parking lot just to run a business out of. That's not sustainable. So very important. All right. How do I market my car rental business effectively online? Man, this is a great question. Now, for the economy car game, Facebook Marketplace is your friend. That's your best friend. Facebook Marketplace is the one. You set up Facebook Marketplace, you post on there, you just put it in the cars for sale section. You just make sure in your heading, the first thing that it should say is for rent only, or this car is for rent, right? And then you market it there. That's great, number one. Number two, you should have a Google panel. Everyone should create a Google panel for their business. If you don't know what a Google panel is, go Google it. Google what a Google panel is. Create a Google panel for your business. This allows you to, when people Google car rental near me, your website will show up, right? And that takes you to the next one. Have a website. And then have an Instagram. Go across all the social media platform and utilize all of them. Make Instagram reels, make TikTok reels, Facebook Marketplace, Google panel, SEO. Do all of it. That's the way to be effective. And the results come with time. So after 6 months, you really start to see that, hey, I'm gonna get these customers are coming from Google. These customers are coming from Instagram. And then you can target your ads, right? But the thing in the economy car game is you almost never have to run ads, bro. Once you have your car on Facebook Marketplace, you almost never have to run ads. Trust me, just try it. If you want, take your car right now, take some nice pictures, go post it on Facebook Marketplace, see how your phone blows up, and tell me if you ever have to run ads. You only run ads when you're at scale. When you're at like 20 plus cars, that might be when you run ads. But when you're starting out, just Facebook Marketplace. I've used Craigslist before, funny enough, and it's worked. You can do that. You can do Instagram for sure, Google panel for sure, and that is the way to effectively market online. Just make some noise. Let people know what you do. That's the way you get customers. What insurance coverage do I need? This is the money question. Everybody wants to know about insurance. Everybody wants to know about commercial insurance. When you're starting out, when you have one car, keep the car on your personal insurance policy. And you have two options. One, either when the customer comes to rent from you, they have to have their own full coverage insurance, or you can go on rental cover, Alliance, and or Bonza and purchase your collision damage waiver. Collision damage waiver will protect your rental car in the case of any accidents while it's on rental. These are very specialized products, and these products protect you and your cars in the case of any accidents. Now, It only protects your cars. There's no liability coverage with these. So that's why in your rental agreement, you have to transfer that liability to your customer. Very important. That's crucial. Your rental agreement has to do that, because if not, there's a possibility that it can come back to haunt you, especially if the customer hits somebody else, right? So make sure that you're transferring liability to the customer in your rental agreement, and purchasing collision damage waiver if your customer doesn't have full coverage insurance. Now, if they have liability only, cool. That liability protects the customer. You want to protect your car with full coverage or a collision damage waiver. So that's the insurance. Now, if you're at scale, once you hit 5+ cars, then you want to go get commercial insurance. And with commercial insurance, there's a lot of great companies. You have GMI. GMI is number one in the commercial insurance. You have ABI. They're probably right under GMI. You have Romley. So these commercial insurance policies protect fleets. Now, with commercial insurance, you still don't want to file any claims, guys. You don't want to file any claims. I'm going to say this again. You don't want to file any claims because they will drop you. Commercial insurance is a for-profit business. They're there to make money. They're not there to pay you claims. So what you need to do is still make sure your customers are covered on a collision damage waiver, or they have their own full coverage insurance. In the economy car game, collision damage waiver is going to be your friend. Most people use rental cover. It's the cheapest. And they have the best coverage. So you go with rental cover. That's my suggestion. And make sure that you protect your cars and your fleet. Can I use business credit to buy rental vehicles? Man, I love this question. Business credit, man. Business credit is my jam. Business credit is my game. Business credit is amazing. You should 100% use business credit to buy your rental vehicles. The first thing you need to do when it comes to business credit is ensure that you have your LLC, you have it structured properly, and you have your personal credit in check. Your personal credit has to be in check. You need a 700 credit score. If you don't have that, man, go into credit repair today. Business credit is the way. Business credit is the truth. I'm telling you right now, once you get business credit unlocked, you can scale infinitely. It doesn't matter how you can franchise. You can franchise if you have business credit, if you understand it properly. So business credit is the way. What you want to do when it comes to business credit when you're starting out is start with 0% interest business credit cards. You can get anywhere from 6 to 18 months. During that period, you can get anywhere from 25 to like 150K. How many economy cars is that if we're buying our cars under $6,000? You do the math. So you can use business credit cards to just keep buying cars. Just make sure that you're paying off the cars by the time the 0% interest is over, or you go get more cards and just transfer the 0% interest rate to another card and restart again. So business credit is the truth. It's the way. A lot of credit hacks. My channel will talk more about business credit as time goes on. I'm just getting y'all ready. I'm just teaching y'all how to make money first, and I'll teach you how to get some credit. All right, how do I handle tax deductions, depreciation, and bookkeeping? This is a good question. This is also a high-level question. You definitely need a CPA. Everybody needs a CPA. In the economy car game, man, you should never pay any taxes. Your customers are going to drive your car so much, the depreciation alone from the mileage, you will never pay any taxes. I promise you. So get a CPA. This is a CPA question. So definitely get a CPA. Definitely make sure you're tracking your miles every single month, or at least every single year. You can start what it is at the start of the year for all your cars and what it is at the end. You can take that. I think in the state of Maryland, at least, you can do 60 cents per mile. You can deduct 60 cents per mile. And with my cars, my customers drive anywhere from like 3,000 to 5,000 miles per car. 15 cars, you do the math. Like I said, you should never be paying any taxes in this game. Depreciation alone will deduct most of your revenue. So great question there. Okay, how do I screen renters to avoid misuse or fraud? All right, fraud is huge in the economy car game. This is the biggest mistake that beginners make, actually. There's been some horror stories of people getting their cars stolen and taken to Texas. This is your risk management. This is your risk management. I'm going to pause here because risk management is everything in this game. You have to be able to do background checks. You need to do background checks on all your renters if you're renting private. You need to know who's coming to pick up your car. The best way to do background checks, you use public data. They're the cheapest. Use public data. All you need is first, last name, their city, and their age. You can do a background check. You can know exactly who's renting your car. And then you should do a driver license check. Make sure the driver's license is valid. You can do that through Stripe. It's called Stripe Identity. You can do your driver's license check. Make sure that the driver's license is valid. And then the third thing would be insurance. They either have to get insurance or have insurance. That's how you risk manage. This will eliminate 99% of fraud or misuse or theft or all of that. I have never had a customer steal my car. Now, I've had somebody else steal a car, but I was able to recover the car like that. And the last thing, the reason why I'm able to recover my cars like that is because I have kill switches. You want to have a kill switch in all your vehicles. You can use Gold Star. You can use, I think, Vantage GPS. There's Trackhawk GPS. They all have kill switches. You can kill switch your cars. As soon as you see something weird going on, kill switch it. You can put a geofence. A geofence means that you can put essentially an invisible wall around a location so that if the car exits that location, you immediately get a notification. So all of these are your risk management, and you have to make sure it's in check and it's in place. That way, when you go and rent out your cars come back. Boom. Is there a minimum driver fee or fee I should apply? This is completely up to you as an operator. As a business owner, you have to determine. For me, my customers have to be at least 21. Some people do 25, some people do 18. But it's completely up to you. If my customers are below 21, they have to have full coverage insurance. For me, there's no exception. I won't even purchase collision damage waiver for them. They're too high risk for me if they're below 21. If they're above 21, cool. We can do business. Below 21, show me your full coverage insurance. So it's completely up to you how you want to do that. There is no one way to do business. It's whichever way you can think of. Boom. How do I determine fleet utilization and revenue per day? All right, this is also a high-level question. You need a fleet management software. That's how you can determine how many times your cars are going out, how many times this car is going out. All right, and just to pause here, I'm gonna get to the comments. I'm gonna get to the comments at the end. All right, I'm gonna get to the comments at the end. So y'all stay tight. I haven't forgotten y'all. I'll definitely get to the comments at the end. How do I determine fleet utilization? You need a fleet management system. I use Fleet Finesse. Fleet Finesse is a good one. I use FleetWire at the start. They're the cheapest one. FleetWire, you list your cars on there. You put your customer information. You can send out rental agreement. It tracks your car's performance. You can send out invoices. You can do all of that. Right? So fleet management software will get you that. Your revenue per day. You can track all of that in your fleet management software also. Now, if you want to determine how much you should charge your cars per day, well, you need to look around. How much is everybody charging? One of the good things about Turo is that you can go and look at what everybody else is charging in your city and either undercut them or stay right there. Or if you think you have a better product, charge more. So that's the way you do it. Research for the revenue per day. And then for fleet utilization, make sure you have fleet management software. You don't really want to run a private rental business without it. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting there with Excel spreadsheets, and that's going to take forever. You don't want that. All right. Cool. Next one. What licenses and permits are required to legally operate a car rental business? This heavily depends on your state. So depending on your state, right? In Maryland, we don't need any licenses to operate. Now, in some places like New York, you need a rental license. So you need to go get a rental license and make sure that you're compliant with your state. So make sure that you look up your state. Do I need a rental license? Is it required? Most states are not required for car rental business. Some are. New York. I mean, I don't even know who likes New York. I don't like New York. New York, there's too much going on in New York. So, but most states, you don't need it. You don't need licenses or permits to run a car rental business. So just do the research for your state. That's the way to determine it. How do I scale from 1 to 2 cars to a full fleet? This is a great question. Scaling is what makes this business worth it. to go from 1 to 2 cars to a full fleet, you need a couple of things. Number one, I would say you need credit. You need credit, man. Credit will change your life. You need credit to scale. If you don't have good credit, then you can do a joint venture. You just got to get creative. Do JV deals. Start partnering up with people that have cars. You partner up with people that have cars, it's easy. You don't even have to spend money on the cars. You tell them, hey, we'll do a revenue split. Hey, I'll take care of your car payment. Just give me the car. I'll rent it out. Boom. Just like that. You can pick up hella cars. There are people that I know, they don't own any cars. They just do joint venture deals. You can scale infinitely with that. You can get 20, 30, 40 cars. You split 50-50, 60-40, whatever. Now you're making money with no cars just because you know the information, just because you know how to do it. You leverage what you know, you leverage what you have, and that will get you there. So to scale, you need credit, you need joint venture deals, or you need cash. One of those three. You got to bring one of those three to the table. So I think from all of those three, you have options. There's no excuse. You should be able to scale from 1 to 2 to a full fleet. JVs require no money down. Credit requires no money down. So you have that. And then if you have the cash, go use the cash. What is the best time to sell off used rental cars? This is a good question. Now, when I'm buying my cars on the economy car game, I never sell any of my cars. I've had cars for 2 years. I don't sell my cars. They're ATM machines. I don't want to sell them. But the reason why I don't have to is because I'm buying the cars at the bottom of the depreciation curve. You're buying the cars so cheap when it's fully depreciated that it doesn't matter. If I buy the car for $5K, if somebody even puts 30,000 miles on it, I can still probably sell it for $4 or $5K again. So I don't see the point in selling it for $4 or $5K again when I can make $1,400 a month, $1,500 a month. So for me, for the economy car game, we don't sell our cars. We drive them till they drop. We drive them till they stop. And if you have reliable cars, they never stop. So basically, you have an infinite ATM machine. Now, if you're in the higher end, you're doing luxury, you're doing exotics. Yeah, you want to find out where that depreciation kind of starts to curve down and then sell it at the curve down point. If you're doing luxury and exotics, you need to buy cars that hold your value. That there's no doubt about that. You need to buy cars that hold your value. They can't put too many miles on it, and then you need to exit. So you need the entry and the exit plot. In the economy car game, we run the cars in, we drive them till the wheels fall off. What is the biggest pitfall beginners fall into? It's a great question. So if you're looking to start a business, most people don't. The biggest mistake most people do is they don't execute. That's number one. Most people just learn the information. They don't use it. They don't execute. They don't do anything. So if you execute, you've already beaten like 60% of people. There's a lot of information out there on this stuff. I'm not some guru. I've just built the business by executing on the information. And now I'm teaching it. So if you execute, you've already beaten 99% of people. Now, once you're executing, the biggest mistake that people make is risk management. They take it too lightly. They give the car keys to someone they don't really know. For me, I know all my customers, bro. I know, like I know where you live. I know I have your driver's license. If you have insurance, I know you have your insurance. I've done background checks. I know who I'm giving my car to. So there's no issue. Right? That's the biggest mistake. If you don't know who you're giving your car to, sometimes I'll even look for them on their social media, Facebook, Instagram. You got to know who you're giving your cars to. That's the biggest mistake that beginners make. And people get their cars stolen. There's been some crazy stories of a guy, I think he was in Arizona. He had his car that was stolen into Mexico. because the person presented, the person gave them the driver's license, sent the picture of it over to them, showed up, and it looked like a different person. And instead of verifying again, he just handed over the keys, and his car ended up in Mexico. So things like that will definitely cost you. In this game, the longer you can just stay in the game, the better. You have better chance of being successful if you just stay in the game. Don't get caught up in the money. Don't get caught up in the small stuff, in like the money now. Make sure you risk manage. Sometimes I have cars that sit in my apartment building, and I turn down people because they don't qualify. If they don't qualify, they don't qualify. Don't phase on that. Don't change on that. So important. Don't make the beginner mistakes. Stick with your risk management. Stick with what you know and execute. How do I differentiate myself from large rental companies? Yes, this is a great question. This is the game that we're in. We're trying to beat the big companies. And I'm going to give you all some sauce. The easiest way in the economy car game to beat the big companies is to offer unlimited miles. If you're renting to anybody, well, we're buying the cars for so cheap. It doesn't matter if I give you unlimited miles. But guess what? When somebody goes to rent at Hertz, at Avis, Enterprise, they get mileage limits. You can only drive 100, 200 miles per day. I give you unlimited. Just like that, I've beaten most of the large companies because I've given my customer unlimited miles. I include maintenance. So anything like oil changes, tire rotations, brakes, anything like that, I do it. Again, I've just beaten the large companies because the large companies, if you mess oil changes and brakes, they'll charge you for it. So you beat the large companies by offering a better service. I have virtual assistants that you can talk to if you need help with anything. Not some 1-800 number, not some AI person on the phone. They call. There's somebody that they can speak with. Customer service. So that's how you beat the big companies. You offer better amenities, and you offer good customer service. Unlimited miles alone in the economy car game, you beat the large companies. Like I'll be honest, unlimited miles alone, you've beaten all of them. They can't compete with that because we're buying our cars for much cheaper than they are. So they can't afford to give customers unlimited miles. So my answer to this question: offer unlimited miles, include maintenance, and that right there, you've beaten most of the large companies, and then give them a better service. That's it. That's the answer to that question. It's a broker model. Rental plus used car dealer, a viable business path. Man, I know people that are killing it with this model. This is a killer model. If you can replicate this model, you'll make millions in this industry. If you can sit down and present your offer to used dealers and just partner with them, they give you cars, you just rent them, you do a 50-50 split, they will happily give you cars. They will happily give you cars. In fact, they'll beg you to give you cars, especially if you can show them with 1 or 2 cars that you can really bring in some money. You never have to buy a car again. You don't need any more money to scale. In fact, you don't need any money to scale if you can sit down and perfect the broker model. I have people that have given me 3 cars. They're begging to give me more. So the broker model is the way. If you don't want to use any cash, you just take the information that you know and you use it to make money. That's it. Take the information you know and use it to make money. How do I get commercial car rental insurance? How much does it cost? All right. So I touched on commercial car rental insurance. You have GMI, you have ABI, and you have Roamly. Commercial car rental insurance is actually cheaper than personal. But the reason why it's cheaper is because they don't want you filing any claims. Commercial car rental insurance is mostly for it's mostly to meet the minimum insurance requirements in each state. It costs about $120 for full coverage. It costs like $80 for liability only. So it's super cheap because they insure fleets. They insure large amounts of vehicles. So commercial car rental insurance is really super cheap. If you're looking to scale, definitely go commercial. And I'll give you a little trick. I'll give you a little secret. If you're doing, you can couple the broker model with a commercial car rental insurance. And what you can do is that you can upcharge the people that you're brokering their cars for. So let's say you have GMI. GMI charges you $120 per car. You got a broker deal, and they're like, man, I don't really want to keep the insurance on this car. Can I switch it over to your commercial insurance? You're like, cool. My commercial insurance is $240 a month, $250 a month. You've just made money on the difference. Isn't that crazy? You can make money with insurance for your business too. You make money on the difference. They're happy. They don't have to pay for the insurance, the rental, and then you take it out of the car rental revenue. So GMI charges you 120 for full coverage. You charge the person that's giving you, that you're in a partnership with, 250, 240. You make money on the difference, right? You make double. You take out whatever charge is coming out, that 250 out of the car's revenue. So you keep 250 straight up every single month, and then you split the rest. So you're making money 2-3 ways. So that's some game for y'all if y'all like that. How do I determine if there's sufficient rental demand in my market? This is a great question. In your research stage, you have to sit down and determine what market are you in. If you're in a beach city, if you're in an airport location, you're in a tourist town, you have demand. Trust me. Any place where travelers come in, you have demand. Now, if you're in a small town, if you have a big gig economy market, you have demand. Uber drivers, Lyft, DoorDash, Uber Eats, you have demand. That's how you sit down and you determine it. Now, if you're in a government area, DC is a government area. You can buy SUVs, the Uber black trucks. You got Escalades, Tahoes, Suburbans. You make a killing off those. So you just have to determine where your location is, what's around you. And to be honest, you can't go wrong with the economy cars. There's always demand for economy. Somebody always needs a car to go somewhere. I'll give you another one. Travel nurses. Travel nurses, when they travel, when they fly in to new cities for work, they need cars for that 2-3 months that they're here. You tap in with travel nurse agencies. Boom. Hey, I run a car rental business. We provide this type of cars to travel nurses. I know you have a travel nurse agency. All you got to do is Google it and you'll find some in your area. We'll give you 10%. We'll give you 5%. Give them a commission for referring the nurses over, and you have a business right there. Boom, done. Now your cars can go 2-3 months at a time, because when travel nurses fly in and out, they're staying for months at a time. They're there for work. Most of the time, they're not there for a few weeks. They're there for like 3 months minimum. Boom, you have a business. That's how you do research. What software or booking system should I use for managing rentals? Great question. I touched on it earlier. You can use Fleet Finesse, FleetWire. FleetWire is the cheapest. You can use Go High Level, Rent Centric, HQ Rentals. There's a ton of them out there. So there's a lot of good ones. I started out with FleetWire. It was the cheapest. I think it's about $20, $30 a month. I don't know whether that's changed. I use Fleet Finesse now. It's a little bit more pricey, and I use Go High Level for customer management. So you definitely need a software fleet management system. Just find the one that works for you. Make sure that you can do text messages. You can text invoices. You can text rental agreements with your fleet management system. With all of these systems, you can do that. So that's the most important thing. Should I start fully private or use platforms like Turo? It's a great question. It just depends. Now, if my advice, I would start off with Turo because it's easy. You just list your cars on there, you get customers. And what you want to do while you're on Turo is you want to start building your private side and start converting your Turo customers to the private side. If somebody rents with you for a week or two and it looks like they're going to extend again, say, hey, I rent direct to customer. You can avoid some of the Turo fees because Turo charges a lot of fees to the customer, just like how they charge a lot of fees to the host. You convert them to the private side. Easy. Toro's already done the background check for you. They've done the license check for you. All you got to do is just convert them over, send them the rental agreement, send them an invoice. They pay you. They continue using your car. Or for all the people that have rented with you on Turo, you can shoot them. Whenever they leave you a review, say, hey, thanks for booking with me. Thanks for booking with us. If you want a future booking, we do direct to customer. Please call and then drop your phone number in there. The first thing people do when they go book a car on Turo is they look at the reviews. So they'll see that. If you drop that under every review, people will see that and they'll call you directly. Another thing I do, another hack I do, is in the description of the car. I'll say, hey, if you want to avoid Turo fees, please call, and I'll drop my phone number in there. That works so crazy. I get hella calls off that. I saw your car on Turo. How much would it be if I rent directly with you? Boom, it's done. And it doesn't even matter if you charge more. Then if you're charging a car for $50 a day, Turo is charging that car at $75 to $80 a day to the customer. So even if you charge that customer $65 a day in the private rental, it's still cheaper than Turo. And then on top of that, you get to make more money and keep all of it. That's the way you build a business. That's the way you do it. So definitely you leverage Turo to build the private side. What type of vehicles should I include in my fleet for best returns? Economy cars, man. Economy cars will give you the best returns. Now, it depends on your market. Now, if you're in fucking Miami, bro, go get some luxury and exotics, man. You'll make a killing. If you're in a tourist heavy city, you can make a killing. But if you're basically anywhere else, economy cars will give you the best return because they're consistent. You don't have to run any ads, or if you do run ads, it's not going to be much. The maintenance is super cheap. The cars are super cheap. You're usually looking at ROI in like 3 to 6 months. I don't know where else you can get such a return, but economy cars are the way. So those are the type of cars you want to include in your fleet. So like Nissan Altimas, Ford Fusions. Some people like go for the SUVs, Ford Explorers, right? You want to use cars like that, or you can even go mid-compact cars like Toyota Corollas. So economy cars will give you the best return 100%. How do I price rentals, manage dynamic or seasonal rates? To price rentals, you can use Turo. Utilize Turo, man. We use Turo to our advantage. We don't give Turo any money. We just use their data. Go look on how much other people in your city are charging, and then charge the same, a little bit under, or if you have a better product, charge more. To manage dynamic or seasonal rates, well, if you have less demand during the week, you want to drop your prices like 10 to 20%. So if you're charging $50 a day, typically on the weekends, during the week, you want to charge like 45. That way you get bookings for that week. Now, with the economy cars, there is no seasonality. With the economy cars, there is no season where you have no demand. People want those cars 24/7. I have rented economy cars in the middle of a snowstorm. That doesn't happen with any other niche in the car rental game. You can't do that with luxury or exotics. It's 24/7 with the economy cars. So if you want to avoid seasonality, go economy. Now, if you want to do the luxury and exotics, you will have seasonality. So during prom season and during summertime, you see a big boom. And then when it gets a little colder out, or people are traveling less, you see a little drop. So you want to make sure that you have savings when there's that drop. That way you can still make your car notes and take care of your cars during that drop. What clauses and terms are essential in a rental agreement? Great question. Now, in a rental agreement, the number one clause is you want to transfer liability over to the customer. That's number one. You want to make sure that anything that happens while the car is with the customer is liable for. So that has to be in your rental agreement. 2, you need a power of attorney. So the customer has to sign for you, give you a power of attorney for claims, because when things happen, you want to be the one in charge of the claim. So you have to have that in your rental agreement. You're going to be the one that takes charge of the claim. You file the claims, you follow up on the claims, and you get paid on the claims. Obviously, you want your car's make, model, year. You want the customer's personal information. So you want their name, their home address, and their driver's license number. So you can easily identify the customer, so that if you show the rental agreement to a police officer, if you have to anybody, they can easily identify the customer. And then you want your license plates on there of the car, so they can easily identify the car. The car's VIN number, color, year, make, model. And then you want your pricing. You want the amount you're charging per day. You want your security deposit. and then you want your rental terms, if you're renting for 1 week, 1 month, whatever it is. So you want all of that in your rental agreement. So your rental agreement has to be robust. All right, I'll make another video on the rental agreements, but rental agreements are essential. Protect yourself, protect your assets, and protect your business. All right, that's the end of the slide. Took me about 46 minutes. I know there was a couple people left comments. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm gonna start at the top. I see you, David. Let's go, man. Yeah, man. Let's go. All right. So when you got an LLC, do you have to get a car rental license from the state? That's a great question, man. So let me do this. That's a great question, man. So when you have an LLC, depending on your state, you may need to get a rental license. Some states don't require a car rental license, but other states do. So I know in New York, if you're in New York, you need a car rental license. So you need to make sure that you have that if you're in New York. If you're not in New York, most states do not. I would just Google, is car rental license required in my state? So I don't know what state you're in. Maybe you can drop that in the comments. But yeah, so that the rental license is important. You want to make sure that you stay compliant with your state. If it's required, go get it. Usually it's a couple $100. Just make sure that you have that. Very important, very crucial. But yeah, man, that's it. That's the live. Appreciate y'all for joining. I saw a couple people come in and out, so thank you. If no one has any more questions, let's see. This was fire. Answered all my questions from slide 2. I'm in Houston, Texas. Oh man, you're in Houston? Man, you're in a great market, bro. Bro, I'm jealous of you, man. I'm out here in little old Baltimore. You're in a great market, bro. You can run any of them. You can run luxury, you can run economy, you can run exotic. Man, you're in a great market. You should definitely utilize the Houston market because you're in a major city. You're in a tourist city as well. So for sure. I don't think you guys have a rental license requirement. So from my knowledge, Houston, Texas doesn't have a rental license requirement, but I would double check that. I thought Baltimore was better. Man, I mean, Baltimore is okay. Baltimore is getting a little bit better. Baltimore is getting a little bit better. Maybe I don't have as much, to be honest, I probably don't have as much competition as I would in Houston, Texas. But what you have to understand is when you see more people, that means that there's more demand. So I don't know if that makes sense. If you see more companies doing the same thing, that means that there's enough people there. There's enough demand there for people to still start companies there. Now, if you are in a market that looks saturated, you have to just find your competitive advantage. How can I beat everybody else? So that's what I would look at. So if I'm in a market like Houston, I would basically look at what's everybody else doing and how can I do it a little differently or better. Now, if you want to do economy cars, bro, you don't have any competition. Like there's no such thing as oversaturated with economy cars. Trust me. The demand is infinite. And also, you have to remember, most people are going to start businesses and they're going to quit after a year or two. As long as you're still standing, you'll be successful. I want to get a lot of cars, but I'm worried about not getting enough clients. I want to get 10 cars. So I would start with 1 or 2. If you have the money to get 10, start with 2. See how it goes, and then scale up. You want to do it strategically. Don't go buy 10 cars because it's going to be overwhelming and it's going to make it easy for you to quit. Should I do Turo or private at the same time? Right? Yeah. So go buy 2 cars, put it on Turo, and start building out your private side. Once you have your softwares, your rental agreements, and everything in place, you can do the license verification, background checks. Then you start shifting people over. Then you go create Instagram, Facebook, post on there, set up your Google panel. Just do everything. Start making money first. So put it on Turo, start making money first, and then start setting up for the private side. And then you switch over once you start making money. Everything is easier. Like in business, like I learned this myself. In business, it's easier to do more when you're already seeing some progress. So put it on Turo, start making progress, start making the money, and then it's gonna be so easy. Like it's gonna be like motivating for you because you're like, damn man, I have 2 cars, I'm making $3K a month. what's gonna happen if I make 10 cars, right? Then it's gonna be your mind is just gonna click in and you're gonna be locked in. You really helping people. Shout out to you, fam. You're Nigeria, right? Yeah, man, I appreciate it. No, I'm from Ghana, man. I'm from Ghana, bro. Yeah, man. I know we be beefing on that jollof, bro. but yeah, I'm from Ghana. But yeah, man, I appreciate you joining the live. That was some great questions. If anybody has any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. I just went over 25 of the most asked questions in the car rental space. I drop YouTube videos every single day. So feel free to subscribe, watch some videos if you're looking to switch from Turo to private. If you're looking to start your own car rental business from scratch, this is the place to be. I preach economy cars, so economy cars are the way to go. Jollof wars, yeah, bro. Jollof wars for life. So we'll always beef on that jollof. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for joining. I'm probably gonna end the live stream now. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. I respond to all my comments, so feel free to drop a comment. But yeah, man, David, I appreciate you joining. Good questions. Good luck, bro. Let me know how it goes for sure. Let me know how it goes. Go get those 2 cars, man. I want to see by next week, next live, you should have 2 cars saying, "Hey, man, I got some bookings for sure." That's your motivation. All right. Have a good one.